We've talked about brokerages being very different in how they do things like brokerage fees, commission splits, those kinds of things.
Hmm.
Do you have
Yeah.
any recommendations on how, like us for newbies going
Hmm.
out, how we should interview? I guess you would say, like, we would probably interview, it's like an interview for us, but also for them on the things that we should look for, because I do believe changing brokerages is a little bit more difficult than it would.
Um,
You know what I
it's
mean? Like,
not.
it's not,
It's
no?
not difficult. It just costs a couple $100 to change brokerages. However, okay, so let's look at this question from how do we answer it on the exam versus how do we answer it? Should it be there? I don't know if it will be
Okay.
there or not, but from exam versus real life, right? So from exam perspective, or actually even real life as well, two main things that you kind of need to keep in mind. One would be how much support and training you're getting. So
Right.
that would be the biggest thing I would focus on. How much support are you getting? Are you able to? I was just talking to a student yesterday, and he was saying he has an offer that he has to write, and there was no support. Like he doesn't know, like he doesn't know who to call to ask questions and so forth. So he was feeling very unsupported, and that's not how you want to be. So when, for example, with our brokerage, I'll just give a comparison. So we had a new agent who just recently started. He wanted to write an offer. So he came to my office. I walked him through the different forms, the process he needs to follow. And then I asked him to send me the documents to review before they go out to the client for signature so that everything is correct. So I generally do that for several deals for our agents till they are comfortable with that process. So I usually review stuff before it goes out because one, it's liability from the brokerage perspective as well. And secondly, you as a new agent would not know what to do, even though we kind of go through the contracts in the course. When you go into the field, you completely forget there's a lot of stuff going on, and you need to sort of go through the process several times before you feel comfortable with that. So when you're interviewing somebody, you want to ask them, can you please help me understand what your process is for a new agent? So training is the main thing you want to focus on from exam perspective, but from real life perspective, ask them because all brokerages will say they have training, but when they say they have training, they don't have new agent training. And not only that, you need hand holding, like mentoring really for the first few deals at least. So that's the question. So I would ask the open-ended questions and ask, okay, can you please help me understand the process you would follow when a new agent is writing an offer? Or what does your training for new agents look like? So I would not just say yes and no, I would have open-ended questions. Can you walk me through the process? Can you tell me what you do when a new agent joins, like how that training works? Because everybody will say there's training, but trainings are not alike. So, like for example, downside
Yep.
of our brokerage is that we don't have formal training, like Remax has formal structured training.
Okay.
Ours is more one-on-one, and it's more mentoring type training versus structured formal training like Remax does, right? So you want to get a flavor of how the brokerage does stuff. Then you can see, does that work for you? Or some people like certain things, right? Other people like other things. So for example, I don't focus a lot on, there are other brokerages that'll focus on setting up CRM and things like that. So I believe those things are important, but they are not critical at the beginning because you have nobody to put in your database. So there's
Yeah.
no point in, putting so much time and effort into setting up a database and setting up your drip campaign and stuff like that when you don't have anybody on there, right? So the first few
Exactly.
people I had was my husband. A couple of my friends, I put them on there, but that doesn't do anything. So I like to go more, let's have a business plan. Let's sit down and see, okay, where are you going to get your leads from if that's what you're looking for, that type of stuff. Or when somebody has a client, somebody will come to me and say, okay, hey, I have a buyer who's looking for this type of property. How do I search for properties? So then I will take them through the process like show them I usually have the person do this and we'll put it on the boardroom big screen and I'll say, okay, click this button, click this button. This is how you do the search. These are the questions you want to ask your buyer before you set them up on the search and that type of stuff, right? This is how you automate the emails going to your clients and this is how you want to follow up with them. Like that type of stuff is what I do. So basically get an idea from the brokerage to see what their program looks like. But if you just ask, hey, do you have training? All brokerages have training. What type of training it is, that's something that, like, once you talk to a few different brokerages, you'll get an idea of how they are even saying things. So that's what I would do. Just go talk to them.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing would be training. The second would be fees, because as you guys are brand new, there will be, I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday. There's big fees coming up. Our fees are relatively small compared to what's coming your way. So when somebody, a brand new agent joins my brokerage, for example, they have to pay $800 to area as an initiation fee. There is $300 to CREA. There is a $300, I don't know if area charges 800 plus 300. That's the yearly fees. Then there's board fees, approximately 2,500. So you're looking at about 3,500 to $4,000 just to get started. Right. So
Okay.
Rika
Yeah.
has, I think Rika, you're paying about 850. And it also depends on the time when you start because some of it will get prorated, but you're looking about 3,500 to $4,000 right off the bat. So my usually belief is you guys are getting hit with so much in our fees, our association and whatnot fees. So I don't have a monthly brokerage fee, but some brokerages will. So you want to understand what their program is. So ours, we have a yearly fee, for example, of 500, but there's no monthly fees. So some other brokerage will have monthly fees and yearly fees. Some people will only have monthly fee and transaction fee, or some people will have monthly fee, transaction fee, and a split, right? Or some will have monthly fee and a split. So it would be 80-20 split, 70-30 split, or some will have 50-50 split, but no monthly fee. So there's a whole lot of variation. So it would be good to go to 2 or 3 different brokerages and interview them. I'm actually going to a mortgage broker with my husband on Tuesday to see, well, because he needs to join a mortgage brokerage because
Yeah.
he finished his mortgage side. So yeah, so I will go through that process. So, and he wants me to go with him because he's newer to the industry. He doesn't know what to ask. So I can get some
Some
answers.
understand. Yeah. What is the
Yeah.
insurance, if you don't mind me asking? I know it kind of varies from year to year, but the REX insurance that is mandatory.
Oh, that's not too much. It's just a couple $100, and that gets
Oh, okay.
covered in Rika fees. So Rika fees when you first start will be around 850. That's their,
Okay.
so it will be 650 plus 200 initiation fee or something like that. But on a ongoing basis, currently their fees are 650 for the year, of which 450 goes to Rika, 200 goes towards Reacts. So
Okay.
that's the current split. And of course, they can change it
Of course.
moving
Yeah.
forward, but that's how it is currently.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's great. Cause yeah, I just wanted to know, like, what do I ask? Because I know it's funny because
Mhm.
it's like the one job that you're going out for where you are kind of interviewing, where you go in and you get interviewed.
Yes.
I feel like
Mhm.
in this case, you're interviewing them, right?
Mhm.
So, which I
Yeah.
think is great.